For those wondering, the sheriff is here. So they said we're going to start in about 5 minutes. The lady walking up there is in charge of it. We did a little interview with her today. She's super nice.
You just never know.
And got the mayor of Andy's town right there with the glasses on his head. We got the sheriff or whatever over standing against the fence over there with the mask on his face. Andy was somewhere around here. I lost him. Those who are asking about masks, it's about half and half. They can only let 170 people in. Hopefully you guys can hear what they're going to say. We wanted to keep the front rows open for some families, so I'm sitting a little towards the back, but in the middle. This is how they checked to see if we were able to come in. They put a Sharpie on my hand that says S for Suzanne. I got some Suzanne bands. Find Suzanne. I think they're just trying to figure out if everyone's here. For those of you wondering, Fox 21 is here. They're doing a story on it. They're just towards the back, and I think they're going to start. Maybe. I think they're looking for lighters for the candles. I guess that is the holdup. They're trying to find lighters for all the candles. I had some matches in my car. I should have brought them. Yeah, somebody called me shy, and yes, I do not like to be on camera. Lauren is not here. I spoke with her and she said she wasn't able to come. There's Andy.
Hey.
The one thing I can't guarantee tonight is that this is going to keep working. So keep praying that the feed stays strong. The internet is really bad here. We had somebody say the chat is moving too fast. We're sorry, but we can't really change anything right now because we might lose signal if we try to. So we'll do our best. Chris and Mike will jump on after. They had to stay home, but they will go live right when this is over. They'll just take over for me, I believe. I'll see if I can go around and talk to anybody, see if we can get any live interviews, but we'll play it by ear.
Family and friends in this effort. We are privileged to be granted great weather. Thousands and thousands of volunteers. Many are here. Many are praying from other locations all through probably through the world, certainly through the U.S. We are so thankful for that. Thank you for those of you that were willing to come out tonight. God is just sending a flight of geese over to entertain. We are so blessed to live in this beautiful place. To be united through difficult circumstances is nothing new to humanity, unfortunately. But God has given us some vision, some hope, and I hope some power for joy and victory in this. Let's go to Him in prayer. Father above, we thank you that you love us. We thank you that of all creation you uniquely knelt in the dust of the earth and you fashioned us with your own hands in your own image and likeness. You breathed the breath of life into us. You placed your spirit within us. You wanted to fellowship with us. Lord, you watched as we turned against you and we turned to sin, we turned to our own ways. You've watched for decades, for centuries now, as millennia now, as this world has turned against you and into evil. We don't have to watch the news for 3 or 4 minutes to see it. We don't have to look around us far to see it and its consequences. But God, we know that you're still on the throne. We know that you love us, especially because you sent Jesus. And Jesus willingly left your side and came into this world to redeem man in our dire state. Lord, we thank you that you've experienced everything that we experience in terms of joy, in terms of anguish. Lord, you were betrayed by a friend and sent to a cross to die for our sins. You did that willingly. Lord, but you were victorious over death. You rose again. We know that. We know that you've left your spirit within those that want to trust you and believe. Lord, we just ask that that spirit might unite us tonight, that you continue to protect the searchers. Lord, that you continue to grant them unique sight, vision, and perception. Lord, that you'll lead them to clues that might help in this closure that we seek for Suzanne. Lord, we thank you for the beautiful family that you granted her. We thank you for a brother that was willing to leave his business, and for friends that were willing to close their businesses to follow him out here to conduct the search. For so many that have come from all around the country to participate in this, Lord, for locals, for the Sheriff's Department, for the other law enforcement agencies, we just thank you that even in a time when seems like our society is turning against them, that they're here to support us. We thank you that you've created for us a government structure that's meant to protect us. Lord, we just ask for your unifying spirit now as we watch this search unfold. We ask that you might bring people together in a unique kind of unity. Lord, that friends might be made that are lasting friendships here as people come from Oklahoma and from Oregon and are joined together hand in hand in the search. We ask that their friendships might last and that we might see your hand of unity and joy prevail in this. Lord, we thank you for the good weather you've provided. We ask that you'll continue that. Thank you for your hand of protection upon the searchers, that nobody's been injured. We ask that that will continue. Lord, lift up the family now. We thank you for the way that you love us. We thank you that you are the God of ages, that you're on the throne. We thank you for Jesus most of all, for his willingness to come and sacrifice himself. Lord, thank you for the Apostle Paul and his writings. And we are reminded of Philippians chapter 4, where he said, rejoice. And again, I always say rejoice. Lord, we just ask that we might be found rejoicing, even in the midst of what seems like a seemingly unsurmountable problem. Lord, thank you that you've surmounted it. We just ask that you'll comfort individual hearts, that you'll bring us together in unity again. In the precious name of Jesus, amen. Amen. Andy's going to come up and share with us his heart and what's been going on. I want, as he's coming up, to just thank so many that have participated in putting this together, for the 3 gals that really made this all possible, for the DJ that's here, for the Gateway Motel that's provided reduced cost housing for some of them that have come from so far, for the family members and friends that have left jobs and for weeks and shut down their businesses, even brought some cases, some of their employees with them to come and participate in this search. This is heartwarming, I tell you. In a world that's so mixed up and seems to be so controlled and so destroyed by the devil and his handiwork, we see God prevailing here, and you folks exemplify that. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Hello, Salida. What a great, great city you have. Full of kind, nice, and supportive people. You all know why I'm here. Look at this picture. We've been searching for days now, and we've made a lot of progress. The volunteers have done a great job. We got a tracking app that's working great. If anyone else wants to join this search, please go to Profiling Evil. You can sign up very simply. You can download this app. You can get boots on the ground. We're starting a movement to find missing people. It's going to work out. It really is. Even if I'm not completely successful, something like this coming out of this is a good thing. Chris and Michael Profiling Evil have helped me tremendously. And I would ask anybody in the community that has a tip to please call CBI. They need all the help they can get. You guys have got a criminal wandering the streets, and they need to be taken off the streets. It's not safe. It's not safe for your kids, your wives, anyone. And that's my goal. And if sometime down the road to help someone else, I'll be pleased as can be. As said, the Gateway Motels helped us a lot. The girls provide us lunches every day on the field. That's just great. We searched a lot of water today and a lot of really rough trails, and we didn't turn anything up. We found a little evidence yesterday, possibly. I turned that over to CBI. They're working on that now. We're going to go back out tomorrow, and I expect to search the railroad grade out by the Morphew property all the way to Salida. So that'll be a rough search. We've got horseback, lots of support. We'll get it done. Maybe a little searching around town. But like I said, the information is crucial. Please don't share it with others. Go straight to CBI if you know him. Suzanne deserves to be found, and my goal is to take her home, give her a proper burial next to my mother, and bring closure. I've got a father that's 87. He's been diagnosed with cancer. He did an extensive operation on his arm, got a lot of it out there, couldn't get it all. And Dad's a root sick. So the timing of this has been horrible, and I really want to bring closure to my family, particularly my dad. And I can't thank everybody enough for being here. Wonderful people. I do have a great community in Esri, but I wish I felt the love like I felt here. I really appreciate it. So I want to thank you all, this whole community, for helping. Thank you very much. Have a great night and enjoy some music. Thank you.
Came in, I think everybody got a candle. It looks like they're being lit now. Once everybody's candles are lit, we'll close in prayer. And then you'll have some time to fellowship, some time to pray, some time to reflect, hopefully some time to rejoice. Our God is good. He wants us to enjoy good. A beautiful sight. Our Lord in heaven, we thank you that you loved us, even in spite of our sin. When we shook our fist in your face as it were when we knelt to that cross, because it was my sin, each of our sins that you came to pay the price for. When you shed your blood to pay for our sins, you did it out of love, to sacrifice, to unify us, to bring us back into the family of God. Thank you that was offered as a free gift, and like any gift, it needs to be accepted. I pray that if there's any here that have not accepted that gift, tonight they might ponder that along with the search, and Lord, that they might seek you out in the Bible or from a pastor friend or somebody that they know is trusting Jesus. They might trust him as well. Thank you, Jesus, for doing that for us. Again, be with the searchers. We ask that you'll lead them to clues, to things that can make sense of this. Lord, we ask that you'll free people from anguish and anxiety, from any sort of anger and strife. Lord, we're reminded that you're the God of justice. You said, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. We don't have to create that justice. You've already got it in hand. Lord, all we need to do is provide help to the family finding Suzanne. Lord, we pray that she might be alive and somewhere with an abductor, that you'll touch the heart of and free her, or by other circumstances set free. Lord, you know what's going on there. We thank you that you have it under control, that there's not a sparrow that falls to the ground that you don't know and anguish over. You know the hairs on our head. You know everything about us. We can't even try to hide things from you. But we do, but you love us anyway. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for paying the price. Now you unify us, unite us under the cross of Jesus, we pray. Be with the family especially is of no small consequence. With Suzanne's father that's fighting cancer, we ask that you'll touch his body. You'll give the people that minister to his physical needs wisdom, compassion, Lord, that you'll lead into a sweet closure of this. Thank you again for Andy and for all his friends and for so many that have come from so far. Lord, as you look down on these lights twinkling, we think of the thousands of millions of stars in the heavens that you placed there. We know you look down on these with a special love, a special concern. Thank you for caring for us. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you. You can blow out your candles, and we'll have a time of music and fellowship. And feel free to try to socially distance, put your mask on, and walk around and meet each other. Thank your name to those who have given so much for this search. God bless.
Nice to meet you. Do the one.
Take care, sir. Take care. Take care, Tom. Take care, Tom. Thank you. You're all right, man.
Didn't want to get in your way.
I know I'm ugly, but I didn't think I was that bad. You move real quick. You know,
Sorry about the audio and the video. I'm gonna see if I can get Mike and Chris to jump in here. They can talk for a minute, and I'll walk around and see if I can find anybody to talk to. We can try to get them on the live stream. Can't guarantee anything though, but so we still have t-shirts and wristbands for donations, guys.
Well, there you go, Chris.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah. Hey, folks. How special this is, and I hope you can understand how what an answer to prayer this was tonight. That we were able even to get in for a moment. The bandwidth for cellular coverage in this town. If you've watched any of the discussions in this case, it's been a complaint from day one that part of the challenge was that people just don't get really good cellular service there. And the fact that we were able to watch that whole thing, Chris, I think is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and shout out to Tyler being on the ground there, Mike. I mean, he was. What was he shooting it with?
Yeah, he's shooting it with his iPhone, and I think he had. Well, you know what? Knowing Tyler, he wasn't. He was shooting it with a with something on a podium on a tripod. But folks, I don't know. We've been really fortunate. Today we had Jeremiah on the ground from 0 dark 30 through to he's now driving home back to Denver where he lives, and he spent the entire day helping people. He was searching. In fact, we'll have to pull up a picture. He did find one thing that troubled him. He walked into a rattlesnake, and thankfully the rattlesnake had a mouse or a big gopher or something in its mouth. So he took a picture of the gopher in its mouth. In fact, Chris, I'll let you maybe cover some things. I'll go see if I can find that picture. We ought to put it up. Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and we'll give you kind of an overlay of what we're going to do here tonight. We've got Andy coming up. He's going to run over and get to a place where there's great Wi-Fi that he had last night. And then we've got Tyler, on the ground there, but we're going to cover a couple of things tonight. Obviously, we're going to get a little more granular on how day 2 went. We're going to talk a little bit more about the technology. And Mike, I think you're going to show them the live maps and the totality of what took place today, right?
We're gonna show them a couple of live maps. I am going to preface that with the guys are in the back shop in our offices in Los Angeles, and they're crunching away numbers. So what I am going to show is yesterday total miles covered. We may be a day behind on that because, folks, this is analyzing, millions of seconds and minutes worth of time, but we'll show you that. We'll show you a special page that was set up just for the searchers where they could get information, Chris. I think we'll show that. And then maybe we'll look at another map of the area and maybe a little differently. But yesterday, I hope you all got a sense of the amount of information that's collected. Maybe we can even recap some of that, Chris.
Yeah, and then we also we're going to give some shout outs here. We've got Candace. Mike, the folks here in Salida and all those volunteers that have come in, not only from Indiana, we've had people from Oregon. Just folks have just absolutely flooded that place, and I think we ended up close to almost 600 people so far, that are even more people coming tonight. I think there was a total count. What was that number, if we know it off? Today wasn't as big as yesterday, but it was definitely more people.
Yeah, no, we had about 115 searchers on paper when I last checked, but I think it jumped up to the 175 mark.
Yep.
At one point. It may have been when people were registering, and then of course the really amazing thing to me was just the total number of searchers that have now signed up. We have 567 searchers signed up to work at individual times throughout the 4 days. And so to those of you who came and got on the Profiling Evil website and signed up and took advantage of coming out, man, we just echo Andy's thanks for what you've done. And there's been a couple of questions, Chris, on the GoFundMe for Andy. If you just go to www.profilingevil.com, and on the left-hand side is a button to register for the search. You only have tomorrow and Sunday left in that search. And then on the right-hand side is a little GoFundMe button that takes you to the official Andy Moorman GoFundMe page to fund this. And he is putting every dime into this search. And I think it's probably a good time to reiterate the fact that Andy's paying his own way for this. That fund is not supporting Andy or any of his family. That is 100% going to all the people that have come into town.
Yeah, most definitely. And he's also, we've got a couple of folks tomorrow coming up. We've got, she's a nurse. Her name is Heather, and she's setting up a medical tent because we think tomorrow's going to be a bigger day than the last 2 days. And we had Jeremiah on the ground today, doing the technology. We had the technology just dialed in today.
It was amazing today.
and we're going to show you the results of it. So those of you who are just joining with us, we're waiting for Andy. He's going over to a better location where he was last night to stream. And so the other thing is we're going to get a team report on what they did today. And they hit about 5 or 6 different locations. Hang on, let me get my notes here for a second. And they did a bunch of water stuff here. And thank you, Jackie Kerr. Andy is amazing. My heart is with him and his family. Thank you, all searchers. Thank you, Jackie. Mike and I are grateful that you're here. And, you know, we absolutely are so grateful that every one of you that has been part of the PE family. And we invite all of our new friends to, you know, hit that subscribe button and, you know, just become a member or whatever you feel. And we're grateful just for that because we're hoping to bring more and more content and great quality.
And
that content.
And Chris, we had Trofra 37 also pushed $20 our way, and folks, I'll tell you that has been so helpful. We really poured out a pretty big team on this search, and what an honor it has been. And folks, it has been recognized globally. Chris and I were on Court TV this morning. We'll be doing. Can we say what we're going to be doing?
It's up to you, buddy.
We'll be doing some other big shows. We'll be taping over the weekend, and it has just really been so gratifying to be able to represent Andy in this entire effort, which means representing all of you, because holy cow, what you have done. Helen Phillips just gave $5. God bless everyone who cares, everyone in the search party. You know, Chris, it was interesting today because I was typing a rather lengthy email back to one of the producers of a show that's asked us to come on. Mm-hmm. And I was saying how overcome I was with the absolute goodness of the people that have been giving their time and talent. And as I'm typing it, $100 donation comes in through PayPal, and I immediately responded to that person and thank them. But folks, Andy has reported over and over again how overwhelmed he is with the love from people that he's never known and probably never will meet. And the fact that some of you say, hey, I can't do much, but I can give $1. Holy cow. Those of you that bought a bottle of water for the team or something like that, it's made all the difference. And I don't know if you saw earlier, Duty Ron's in the house, Chris. Duty Ron, hey Ron, buddy, thanks so much. Even threw down $10 tonight, and how much we love our brothers in blue. Ron, thank you.
Yeah, we do. And Ron, thank you so much. And by the way, you know, if you have not gone over to Ron's site, please get over there, subscribe. I mean, just this whole. It's a great community. Everybody is doing the right thing. I think we're changing the way things go. Betty Cochran became a lieutenant. Thank you so much for everybody that's joining. And by the way, Mike, I just sent a note, a stream invite to jump in here with one of the young ladies that was out there today doing some awesome, really cool things. And hopefully she can make it. She was saying she was going to try to make it, but we've invited her here. You want to set this up or?
I'm going to let you set it up when it comes, because it made me think. I've had this sitting on my desktop all day. One of our viewers, Heather, who's a RN and will be running that in that tent tomorrow with that team that's going to be running medical, said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that a bunch of ice cream was donated from one of the companies here in Custer County. And I'm going to bring it. I've got it filled with ice packs and juices, and I'll use the ice to treat hypoglycemia and people that are suffering or need to get some swelling down. So to those of you who might need some ice tomorrow, just know it's bringing ice cream first, and then it'll be used to treat your sore knee when you get back." Thanks, Heather.
She's an RN, and she's bringing ice cream, and for everybody volunteering. And she's going to be at the medical. She's setting up a little medical tent. And then these are the folks that are just fantastic. And I've invited another local. Her name is Candace. And Candace, I'm calling you out. If you're watching, I just put it in your email. Make sure you just click on that link, and we're going to put you on here. So Candace, as everybody knows, last week sent us a note, or a couple of days ago, whenever it was, Mike, I'm losing track of time.
Yeah.
A couple of days ago, she goes, "Hey, I reached out to Little Debbie's in Tennessee." So I can get Little Debbie's for all of the volunteers and all of the good people in Salida and all the people showing up. And these are the kind of people that are just stepping up. There was some food.
Now we haven't heard from Little Debbie's yet, though, have we? But she went out and bought the Little Debbie's. So Little Debbie's, we're calling you out.
11 boxes.
Corporate, we're calling you out. And Cat H, thank you so much for the $20. Blessings for Andy will be passed on. And Chris, we just had another one pop in from Shar Truth Seeker, who we've seen many times. But thank you again, Shar, for always supporting us. You all are just so amazing. But anyway, I wanted to call that out.
Julie McCuskey, Dr. McCuskey, just awesome. Or Julie Cranky, Dr. McCuskey, awesome. We've got, who else we got coming up here? Dana Jen, y'all rock. God bless Andy and everybody searching, still praying. We're with you. Oh, by the day, there's Julie, Cranky. Thank you. And I hope I do. Guys, you guys know me by now. If I hack your name up, please forgive me. It is not intentional at all. Miss Burke, thank you for becoming a member. So a couple of the things, Mike, I think we should maybe, touch on, a couple of logistical issues. One of the things that we heard about today, believe it or not, there are some people staying in the area, and apparently they've embedded themselves in the search. And we'll talk about this later on. But unfortunately for them, they downloaded the app. And then they were reporting back to some other people. We'll just leave them nameless. And we basically watched them all day. So what was the old Dr. Seuss book, the Bee Watchers? Remember the Bee Watchers, where everybody's watching the other guy? And I got to be honest with you, Michael. I've never seen anything like this in all of my years working homicide, ever.
Yeah. Although, did you ever have the chance? Yeah, did you ever have the chance to have people volunteer to allow you to watch them too? So, thankfully, all of that information gets pushed away, and we focus on the areas that are specific to the searches that are going on. Lisa Marie, thank you so much for the $10 donation. But yeah, Chris, it's been interesting, and it's been really an interesting test of technology in an environment that is so challenged with technology. Karen, thank you. Sorry, Chris, I missed that one.
No. Go ahead. Finish your thought, and we call her out here.
Yeah, Karen Olson, thank you. $25. That's so kind. We did something really cool, and maybe we could get Duty Ron to type in a note here. Think back, Ron, to pursuing suspects and having search teams out if you'd have had this technology then. But this ability, even in a disconnected environment when there's no cellular service, we're able to at least record every single footprint that hits every piece of dirt on the ground. And it's pretty darn amazing.
It's pretty darn. In fact, you were able to, and I know we're going to show this here as soon as Andy gets here and we get a report, because what we want to do is correlate some of the things that he was doing, guys. And I know you understand they're headed that way. They should be up with us, pretty soon. But long story short, we're going to be able to show you tonight all of the areas so far that's been searched. And I know they went to Little Elmo or St. Elmo. They did a bunch of water searches today. They've got a big deal coming tomorrow. And we're going to let Andy tell everybody, where that's going. Let's see here. Tyler
Yeah,
sending a note. You got that,
send
Mike?
that note, and I'll call out Nicole Marie.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Nicole. We really appreciate it. And I think we missed Bonnie Lucas, unless you did call her out, Chris. But Bonnie, thank you, and again, Karen and others. Thank you so much for what you've done, and welcome aboard Chibogo, and great to have you here. So we're getting a little bit of intel coming in as we try to keep people moving in the right direction. What do we got going there, Chris?
So I just texted Lance, and he's going to give me a heads up on how they're doing with timing over here. Oh, there she is, Mike.
Now there we go.
There's Cassandra. Hi.
Candace, how you doing? Cassandra,
Candace.
Who's Cassandra?
No, I don't, Candace. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good.
So
Thank
everybody
you so
meet
much.
Candace K.
Nice to
So
meet you.
tell everybody why you're so important here tonight.
Well, I'm embarrassed to say, but I showed up.
Oh, wait. She'll come back.
And Sandra Yanas, thank you for the $20. Thank you for thanking, but that's so kind. And to my favorite, Dra
There she is.
Latina, thank you.
Okay, you dropped off just for a sec, but you're back. Don't move.
Okay.
Okay, go.
So I showed up to the search this morning with several boxes of Little Debbie's because they are essential nutrients for this high altitude.
Okay, this is awesome.
There you go. So
There
here's
you go.
an amazing supporter who walks out, buys a bunch of Little Debbie's, nothing greater than high value carbs. We just had a call. It was just two days ago or 3 days ago, Chris. We had Dr. Amy Salerno on, and that became one of those really interesting discussions about what junk food is most important in a search like this. So, Cassandra, stay on for a moment because I want to call out our brother in blue from the New York City Police Department, Duty Ron. And folks, if you haven't been on Ron's channel, make sure you're stopping in there and visiting him. And Ron, yeah, I'm going to let's put that back up if we can, Tim. I want to bring that. Betty Cochran, thank you so much. The tech is amazing, and I'm so proud of the effort you are doing with Andy and the social media community. I'm honored to be a part of the PE family. And Ron, wouldn't it have been something if we'd have figured out when we were the boot on the ground the value in leveraging social media and the public? We always leaned on snitches and people that we could get information from, but to have this collaborative effort. Anyway, Chris, I'm going to give it back to you and Cassandra.
Okay, so Cassandra, we just absolutely love your story here because you are the salt of the earth. This is exactly, the type of volunteerism that we're seeing in this great community of there in Salida. And God bless you people. You're just such great people. I mean, the minutia idea of just bringing Little Debbie's just kind of blew Mike and I away. It was like, it was almost like the widow's mite. It's like this little piece, okay? And so we wanted to personally thank you and let people know who you are and that small gracious gift that you're giving on behalf of Suzanne. So thank you so much.
Thank
Well,
you. And in fact, I just left the Vigil. It was beautiful. And so I'm back at Walmart now to go get more boxes for tomorrow.
Amazing.
There you go.
Hey, Cassandra, why don't you just share what the mood has been like for you? Because you're representing this right now, 3,282 people that are watching you right now as you're talking. What's this been like for you to take part in something? Because I suspect you never knew Suzanne, did you?
I did not. But heavy hearts. It just, everything I've heard about her, and she was a beautiful woman inside and out, beautiful mother, and for something like this to happen to her, it's heartbreaking.
Did you go to church with her, Candace? Maybe how did you know her? I mean, have you seen her in the community?
I've never met her. I've never seen her.
Okay.
I just saw around Mother's Day where she was missing, and something about her just called to me, and I've followed the story since. And
Yeah.
so I just every day hope and pray that she's found.
Yeah. No, there's something there. I mean, I think she's a piece of every, my wife told me, she goes, she's just like me. That was my wife's comment. And it was like, wow, there's this whole idea of how many women she represents. And, there's just something there. There is something there. And, so thank you so very much for everything you're doing. Every piece of this counts, 100%. Oh, wow. So we've got some pictures here from the Vigil.
Yeah, I think Tyler's going to start putting up a couple that he took while he was wandering around. Cassandra, you represent a beautiful community that has really stepped up. And 3/4 of the people that are in town are people from your community. And then, like I say now, almost 3,400 people watching you as you talk about this and represent all of them. Thank you so much for what you do. I wish I was sitting right there by you, because I could really use a Debbie's right now.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you.
Thank you both. And we have an amazing community. So hopefully tomorrow is a better day.
Yes, it will be tomorrow.
Right.
Whenever God closes a window, he opens a door. So tomorrow's going to be a much better day. So
Hey, please invite all your friends.
Terry Weber, thank you.
Yeah, please invite all your friends there to tune in, and to everybody listening. We hope you're hitting the subscribe button. I mean, we can't pass up an opportunity to make you part of the family, and thank you so much. We're seeing some other photographs that our producer Tyler took while he was at the Vigil today. And Tim, if it's possible, Fisher Girl 68, thank you for the $20. Really appreciate that. Tim, we've missed maybe 4 or 5. If we could bring those back up and acknowledge them.
We better let this young lady here get into Walmart.
Thank you both.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Cassandra. Have a
good night. Thank you. Thanks for jumping in.
Wasn't that fun? Hopefully everybody liked that. Andrea Watkins, and Andrea's been on the ground, hasn't she there? Andrea, thank you for the donation. Terry Weber for the $50. Thank you. And in behalf of Ron and every police officer, thank you so very much.
Yeah.
Now, wasn't Andrea Watkins on the ground today there?
I think so. Lisa Stewart, thank you. Thank you. You're so kind. We've got so many great people. And by the way, I just got a text message from one of the guys that is with Andy. He's obviously getting bombarded right now with news. Well, here's the picture right here. And he says as soon as he's done, he's going to come over and jump into us. So there's a couple of things maybe we can talk about. Maybe we can take some questions, Tim, and also
that would be a really good idea. Take some questions from people.
Yeah. So day 2, and also while we're waiting for some questions to come up, day 2, typically how this works. Let's see here. Leaving in the morning, taking a friend, my dogs, and my detective smarts. Absolutely. Lovely, Denver. I love it.
Thank you.
Lori Bennett, Super Circuit. Thank you so much. We're grateful for that. So typically in these things, Jen, to Andy and Mike and Chris and all the church, God bless you all and thank you for all you do. Prayers continue, Suzanne, to be found like Andy and everyone. So grateful for the love. Yeah.
Wow.
Unbelievable. So Mike, let's kind of give a big picture on, some of these major investigations. And we got Ron in there. I'm sure he can chime in too. God bless you with an incredible endeavor. Such beautiful souls. Thank you.
Thank you, Weber family. Family. That is so kind. And I pulled up some of the map pictures from yesterday to refresh those that might not be on when you're ready, Chris. But yeah, let's talk about a couple of those cases while Tim, and folks, by the way, you got to call out Tim in the background. He's our associate producer, and he is running things while Tyler's goofing off in Salida and keeping things
Gene's root beer.
held down there.
That's Suzanne's
there
dad.
it is.
This is where she grew up. Is it true that Brary brought a new truck? And if so, was this old truck ever processed for possible evidence? Yes, to both. And yes, the old one was looked at, and the 2 Range Rovers were also processed. And he bought the new truck up in Indiana and drove it back down. So who was in the photo? Chris posted on Twitter today. That is Barry, and we don't know who the other guy was. Well, 544 people signed up to search. He was talking to that guy. So that's how that worked. What else we got? Any new tips from Suzanne today? Yes, and we're going to hear about that when Andy gets in here in terms of some areas. Mike, what do you got here? Please explain how search warrants work.
Well, search warrants are pretty simple and incredibly difficult, folks. Once you have developed enough probable cause that you think that there is evidence that will be lost or destroyed, or that there's something that's pertinent to an investigation, you can approach a magistrate, a judge, and ask them to give you permission to go in and take that information. And search warrants really cover a number of things. In this case, the kinds of search warrants that we would have seen in this kind of a case are multifaceted. There would have been a search warrant for the property. And we saw that happen not once, but in 2 or 3 locations where they were given permission to go in and actually take a domicile over and maintain that and process that. Another search warrant in this kind of a case that would be interesting might be the seizure of the vehicles, or or getting into business records, like getting records on the servicing of the vehicles or other kinds of repairs that have been done. We would suspect that there have been search warrants served to collect the phone records and other digital kinds of information. So it's really a broad range of things, and it's not something that is easily obtained, folks. Law enforcement has to have a reason to do that, and a judge has to agree that there's a reason to do that before a search warrant is issued. So hopefully that helps out. And I know there were a couple people who put some money down while I was yammering on there.
Yeah, well, Sophie H., she gave a shout out to Tyler, and we agree with you 100%. Thank you so much for that. Nat Man, so can you get back on the property? Mike, why don't you just tie that into your last conversation about the search warrants? I mean, yeah, you can if you have probable cause, right?
Yeah, so Nat, they went back, if you remember, and think about this, how difficult it is. And Mary Dethy, thank you for the $10, just in case we lose you, because I don't want to forget. And we're going to wait for Lauren to come on and explain some of the challenges that have kept her from being here today. This is something that she should probably cover. And we, like you, deeply miss her and question why her news organization doesn't have her here. But so Nat, and thanks, because you've been with us from day one, as many others have, but think about how difficult now it is to hit a first standard to get a search warrant. To go back to the same location is not an easy thing. It is a very difficult thing to go back and get another, we call it another bite at the apple. And they were able to do that in this particular case. So it's a real challenge to do that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Barb Newman. Thank you, by the way. That we're grateful for that. There's a lot of information floating around about poor Lauren, and she was served with a cease and desist order and all this other stuff. That's not true. That's not true. We're going to let her explain it. But number one, you cannot serve a cease and desist order on the press. That's a violation of the Constitution and the First Amendment. Okay. Now you can get irritated. Okay. It's kind of like the old reporter as the suspect's walking by and they stick the mic in their face and they said, "Did you kill her?" Okay. Well, yeah, you can say, "Oh, I didn't like that mic getting in my face." Okay. but you can't say, oh, and here's a cease and desist order. Don't contact me again. Okay. No, it doesn't work like that. In fact, the whole reason we have the press is so they can keep doing it over and over and over again. That's called the First Amendment. Okay. And the Constitution protects against that. Trust me, if I could have done that in my career, I would have been the first guy to go get one of those cease and desist orders and say, hey, would you stop these people, please? Okay. It doesn't work like that. Stella Bella, was a vehicle rented at any time in the days before or after Suzanne went missing? I don't think we know that answer.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't have that one.
Oh, hey, we got a Kiwi from New Zealand.
Hey.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what. I want to tell everybody here, thank you for that donation. And to my Kiwi friends, I was actually on the Southern Island at the time that the shootings happened at the mosque a year and a half ago. The day that happened, I was supposed to be meeting with the police commissioner, and we actually spun up an entire team to help. How much I love you Kiwis, such a beautiful place. And folks, if you ever want to go fly fishing in a place that is gin clear water with monster trout, you got to get to New Zealand. Lynn, thanks for the $20. Chris, I have a surprise coming for you here in a second. So we'll see if it actually materializes.
You're killing me, King. You're killing me.
Pamela McCarthy, thank you so much. And did I say let's call out Tim sitting in the back room? Because we do need to call him out.
Yeah, we need to call Tim out.
And Tim, I want you to put up your channel on the chat, just so people, if you like hiking and seeing cool things, you got to go to Tim's channel.
So, we had another question there, something about something here. Tim, what was that last one up there? You put that up, grab that one again.
I think he got so embarrassed and ashamed when he got caught.
Okay. One of the sending love to everyone, honor and memory. Thank you, T is me. Sheriff from the Chaffee County Sheriff's Department put a press release out today, Mike, as you recalled, about some of the evidence collected. And here's the optimal word: may not be. Okay. Do you notice that they didn't say that has been eliminated? Okay, so that may not be is typical code for it's at the lab getting processed. Okay, that's what that means. So what the sheriff did today was correct. Typically, you don't do that, but he's doing the right thing by keeping the public, informed. Carly M, thank you so much. And I see what you did. I love it. Good job.
Good job. Every once in a while, you get a chance to celebrity bomb. And I wanted to bring in an old, tired cop and just have him say hello to everybody.
Ron, gentlemen.
How you doing, buddy?
How are you guys? How are you?
Hey, Ron.
Hey, Ron, why don't you share what you think is so amazing about what's going on? And Andy Crayons, I've been looking for you for 2 days. I don't know where you are, but thanks, Andy. We really appreciate it. And Andy really takes a driving lead in our Discord channel as well. But Ron, maybe a couple of quick thoughts, and then I'm going to throw up a couple of images, and I want to just talk cop to cop for a minute.
Fantastic. Do I have to show my shield and ID card to get in here?
we require that. In fact, you know what? I got busted down by one of the deputy chiefs for not showing my shield to walk onto the subway one day with him. And so I've never walked on a subway in New York City since that I didn't just shield the guy and go on. Right. And what a great city.
Yeah, so awesome guy right there. Totally agree.
In regards to the technology that's with the search grids with the app, I can't even tell you how invaluable that would be to a New York City police detective. I worked in the warrant squad for over a decade. So search warrants, tracking people down. I basically was a glorified high-paid bounty hunter for over a decade. So that type of stuff that you're putting up here is just an invaluable tool because for two separate reasons. Number one, there's no coverage out there. We're in complete quiet zones. I don't even want to use the word dead, but we're in zones that have no coverage. So to have this this type of technology, I mean, 10, 15, 20 years ago, it just wasn't heard of. So this is fantastic. And this is so helpful. So you're not having redundant searches. You're not going back over the same search grids. It's just a waste of time. With this, it makes it so efficient. So it is tremendous, Mike and Chris.
Yeah, could you imagine? Hooly Jeep, thanks so much for the
shout out. She's a nurse in Texas.
Another RN, that's awesome. And Wendy
Santana.
Yeah, thank you. So Ron, I mean, taking a second to look at these maps, and yesterday we kind of walked through them, so I don't want to belabor them too much, but the idea that you could go in and make sure that you haven't left behind important pieces of landscaping. I mean, how valuable is that in a search? And think about this in the case of a missing child, for instance, and instead of looking at footsteps in the dirt, looking at household to household.
Yeah. I mean, this is over the top technology that, like I said, 10 or 12, 15 years ago, it didn't exist. I'd even argue to say 10 years ago, we didn't have this type of technology. And with boots on the ground in a rural area where the search team is out with Andy, I mean, we have a certain amount of time. So time is so valuable. And this will enable the search teams to, really fine tune the search, so to speak. This is going to make it so precise and so, concise, precise. You got the coverage. You're not doing redundant. You're not doing unnecessary work. And it's good for safety as well. If somebody's out there and, hey, we know team A or team B is over here. God forbid, like we always say, we want to get home safe to our families at the end of our tour, at the end of our day's work. These guys have families they all want to get home to. So it is not what everybody thinks. It's a dangerous on-taking. And God bless each and every one of them that are out there,
Yeah. And shout out to Jenny and Kimberly. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys very much. Who created the technology?
I'm going to put up a little banner here, and let's just call him out. He doesn't want to be called out, but I mean,
how are you feeling about this case? There you go, Ron. This is yours.
So, Ron, how do you feel about the case? And I'm going to just put at the bottom, all of this mapping technology is built by a company called Esri, and we are so appreciative of the sponsorship that they give us. This technology is being used around the world in public safety. And in fact, if you think about the COVID dashboard that we've been seeing through Johns Hopkins University and others throughout this entire COVID experience, those are all built by the scientists at Esri. So yeah, we really appreciate them. And folks, go look. They have software for individuals all the way up to enterprise software for big organizations. So so anyway. There we go. Thanks. I'll figure out now if I can.
God bless them. God bless them. Hey, God bless those app producers and those I like to call them computer geeks and nerds. They are awesome. I tip my cap to them. Really. I mean, these guys
are killing me, Smalls.
Very bright. I got to keep the cap on because I got a lot of shine coming off this hat. Right. A lot of shine coming off the head.
Awesome. Oh, so here the question was, what's your take? What are you feeling? Where's this thing headed?
Listen, I'm all for, like you guys. I'm a realist, and I know this is a big on-taking. This is a roll of the dice, and don't kill the don't hurt the messenger here with I'm going to give you my real gut feeling on this. I mean, it's a 50-50 shot here. I mean, and I'm giving more to I'm giving more to Andy and the family. It is an immense area to search. There's an immense possibilities of what could have happened to her or what could have been done to her. I pray, as everybody does, that we will have a positive result, because I too am just like you guys. I'm very much in tune to bringing home a family member for a crime victim. That's what we do. That's in our blood. This is what police officers, this is what law enforcement does. We don't sleep at night. I've had many nights of sleepless nights on cases that I've worked, and you guys can obviously concur with me on this. We take this stuff personally, and this is Andy's little sister, his baby sister, as he refers to her.
Yeah.
And Suzanne needs to be found. She needs to be brought home. She needs to have a proper burial if need be. And I want to see that more than anybody else. You know, as law enforcement professionals, we want to bring closure to a family that's they're in suspended animation here. Her daughters, her grandfather, her father, everybody that's alive, you know, to this day, is just wanting some closure to this, you know?
You know, Ron, I got a question for you, but I want to call out a couple of people. Jesus Medina, thank you so much. Your prayers are joining many others, and I hope you know how much those are being felt by this family. And Grula Blue, thank you. We wish you were here too and helping out. And Miss Sophia, holy cow, thank you. You're amazing yourself, and you're always there for us. Sylvia Durham, thank you. Gosh, I don't know. We're not class acts, but we love people, and we love the opportunity we had to protect and serve. And it's kind of a goofy statement, but it really does mean a lot to us. So, Ronnie, here's a question I got for you.
Sure.
Did you ever have a homicide case where you saw such odd behavior from the victim's husband or a victim's loved one?
Thank you, Coda.
You know, I worked quite a few odd homicide cases, and a lot of cases where the significant other was in complete denial, right up until the confession, right up until we had the person, you know, cornered in the interview room, and you know, this case here, you know, is just, for me, has me scratching my head, because, you know, to have a husband go this long silent and not, you know, that 26-second clip that he put out there on Facebook, and then have to have silence, has me as an investigator saying, you know, if there was a true love, you know, a bond. I'm married 30 years. If my wife was missing for 1 minute, I would be going nuts. Okay. And you guys, I'm not saying anything that anybody else doesn't realize. I wouldn't sleep. I would be out there. I would be on that sheriff's doorstep night and day, wanting updates, going to the news, making pleas. I would be here with Andy on that search. You know, the fact that he is, I don't care what their family dynamic was. When you have a lost loved one, put aside your wife, you throw all the BS to the side, and you come together, and that's how this is how it should be, you know. So,
those are red flags, right? I mean,
tremendous,
you know,
tremendous.
A lot of red flags.
I mean, and I've worked hundreds, probably close to thousands of homicide cases. Not that were my own, but with the Fugitive Enforcement Division, we were back. You know, we were support. We were, you know, where we pulled in suspects, and like when they had, you know, just let's say major case homicide, caught a case and they had no leads. Well, they would call a warrant squad and say, hey, pull all the warrants in this grid and take all these people in. We want them all debriefed. So this is this kind of stuff that we would do. We would debrief hundreds of people in a weekend, hundreds, you know. So, you know, I remember I was out on my squad partner, the detectives who his shield I carry to this day. When he was murdered, we went into the South Bronx and we brought in one night 1,200 potential interviewer, you know, people that had needed to be interviewed and debriefed. 1,200 in one night, and that to most people is just mind blowing. But we did it. We did it in a 24-hour period. and it didn't get us anywhere because we wound up catching the shooter just 2 days later. But we just, this is what you do. So this is what's got me thinking. Barry should be screaming at the top of his lungs. I want action. I want action. Not decisiveness. Not, hey, I can't talk. Not, hey, I don't want to go and speak to the sheriff. Hey, I don't want to talk with Andy. I don't want to. No, he should be loud and clear and out there. And that's what's got me really scratching my head and saying, I don't like to point my finger at anybody with guilt, but my gut instinct as a seasoned detective puts him in my number one spot. Yeah, and that's my, opinion.
Yeah. No, amen. So Manuela Costa Lima has a question about why don't the authorities see all the red flags? I don't think for a moment they're not seeing the same red flags that everyone else is seeing, folks.
Oh, yeah.
These cases require evidence and pieces of it. Sometimes there is enough that part of us might want them to run forward with a circumstantial case, but you got to kind of hang on whatever the DA is going to tell you is going to be required. And so these guys are under tremendous pressure to fill in some holes and some gaps that are existing in this case. And we have great confidence still that law enforcement's going to be able to pull this off and put it all together. And that's the thing that Andy keeps echoing, is that he trusts that they're going to do their part. He's focused on finding his sister. And that's really, really important. I don't know, Ron, any thoughts as we kind of take a shift in direction here? And can I tell you again just how awesome it is for you to drop in once in a while? I peek into your show.
You guys are my brothers. And anytime I sent you the message, I said, hey, if you want me to pop on, it's my pleasure. But listen, you guys have created such a great community here. And I see so many familiar faces that are coming on to my show, coming on to yours. And the great part about this is that whenever I go live, if I speak about this type of any type of case that involves, missing person, homicide, anything like that, I'm always saying Profiling Evil. These are the guys you want to go to. So for me, I'm always shouting you guys out because I'm proud to be, brothers in blue. I'm proud to share the brotherhood of the police department. The law enforcement family is something that is a bond that can never be broken. And when I saw you guys come onto the scene here, I was just like, thank God, I got some backup. I need some. You guys took a lot of heat off of me, a lot of questions. But I see, a lot of the same people. I want to just say, everybody in the chat, God bless you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for continually supporting these two guys and Andy and the Moorman family. Andy's just looking to bring his baby sister home.
Duty Rum. Yeah, they're asking about your channel, and don't go anywhere. His channel's name is Duty Ron, and so we have Lance trying to get in. So Lance is with Andy, but so Lance is trying to get in. Tim, can we maybe help? He thinks he's in here. Let's see if we can see if he's going to work.
There it looks like he's trying to work his way in here. Yeah, while he's doing that too, I'm going to bring up something and just. I'm hoping, Ron, you're still sharing this on your channel as well, but to all of our YouTube family and those that are in the true crime community, we hope you're taking advantage of this app that we built. And Ron, we kind of made a decision that probably I would have never made as a street cop, but we made it on this because with Twitter now, everybody's saying where every searcher is out there. So this is no longer secret information. So if you haven't downloaded this app, folks, just go to Profiling Evil on Twitter and grab the link to this. But you download this thing called ArcGIS Explorer that's showing right here. You go to Suzanne Morphew search. You don't log in. You just go forward without logging in. And you'll be able to track. You won't know who they are, but you'll be able to track every searcher in real time doing that. Never happened before that I'm aware of, but we thought, holy cow, I guess if YouTube's going to snitch out every searcher and where they are, we may as well just make it right and give it to the public. What do you think of that?
What an awesome app. That is great. I'm going to share it onto my Twitter. I got a couple of thousand people on my Twitter. I'll share it on there. I'll share it on my community tab, and I'll put it out on my Facebook. I got, tons of people that follow me all around, all over the place. I'll even throw it into my LinkedIn. So
that's great.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen
Around
if
the circle.
joined up. Linda's joined tonight, but Linda has been sharing it. Paula has been sharing it. Just everyone in this true crime family of YouTubers has been sharing it to the creators that are comfortable enough sharing and complimenting each other. We are so grateful. There are a few that don't, but
yeah, you don't get that often in this community. I'll tell you that right now. But the bottom line is you guys have cultivated a really great group of people, and I see so many of the familiar channel names in your chat that are coming and positively interacting in my live streams. I've been at this almost 2 years now, and for me, when I see those familiar faces and those good people, now I know that you guys are doing a great job at, getting and attracting a lot of good people. So kudos to everybody in the Profiling Evil chat and part of the family here. I mean, it's a testament to the work that you guys are doing, because you don't get this type of great attention and great people around you if you're doing crummy things. So what you guys have done for Andy so far, and for Suzanne and her children, I mean, I can't say enough good about you guys. And I've been around a lot of seasoned law enforcement professionals, and you guys are top.
We lost your audio, Ron.
Oh,
there we go.
No,
You're back now.
Yeah, you guys
there.
are top notch.
While you're figuring that out, Andrea, thank you. And Tim, we missed a few people. If we could go back and look at a few, and it looks like we got Lance just about loaded up and ready to come in. But Andrea, thank you. We want to also call out Donna Newman for that $50 super sticker. Thank you so much. Coda Frank, thank you, $22.99. And Miss Sophia, again, $140. You all are just so
Crazy.
so
Jenny Dander.
amazing. Yeah.
And Mike, we do have Lance going here. I know these guys have been out all day. Ron, stay around. Don't go anywhere. And we'll punch him in. Hey, buddy. Can you hear us?
Chris. Yeah.
Hey, your hat's on backwards.
Do I got to switch mine?
Yeah. Hey, we've got Duty Ron from NYPD up here visiting with us as well.
Welcome, Lance.
So let's tell everybody, by the way, you're with Andy's team. We know that he's probably exhausted. Am I right?
You are correct. Yes.
Okay. So let's give what we're going to do. If you can kind of give us a rundown of what you guys did today, and then Mike and I, you guys can go to bed, and then Mike and I will punch up the data. But I'm sure you probably want to see it. I'm not sure, how you're feeling.
Okay, that'll be fine.
Okay, so give everybody a rundown. You've got almost 30. There's a lot of people that are paying attention. So what you covered today, and then what you're hoping to do tomorrow.
First, we started off at an abandoned gold mine. Checked a few structures there that we received some information that would be a possible location. It was very rugged terrain, absolutely. We kept going. We were pretty close to 13,000 feet. And then came back down. We chased our tails for a few minutes today, not to lie to you. It's just the way it was. It's hard to find things up here, and some places aren't real marked. So took a break around lunchtime, went back up to a lake close to the Morphew property. Searched it later on this afternoon, but we didn't produce anything at that time.
Okay. And how are you holding up, and how is Andy holding up? I know he's got to be emotionally drained.
Absolutely.
Today.
Yeah. We've had a long day. We feel like we've had a productive day to check some stuff off of our checklist, so to speak. He's been busy with the press this afternoon. We had the Vigil tonight. in downtown Salida, and he's still there talking to the press and, you know, meeting the people of Salida is what he's doing right now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's go over and let's show you, Mike, what do you think about where you want to go with the technology and show everybody kind of results they had?
Well, I thought I might. I'm trying to pull up something. So if you'll just keep yammering for a second, Chris, between you and Ron, I'm sure we could cover.
You see that? Did you hear
love
that?
expression, yammering.
Did you hear that?
That's a good one.
Yeah. Did you hear that?
I'm going to pull up something I think that's going to be kind of cool because we had a little problem today with Andy being able to locate Lance, and we wanted to put together a little tool that would help people connect a little more quickly. And we now have this on Andy and the leaders' phones. So if I can find this, I'm gonna pull it up. So keep
Lance, while he's doing that, let's tell everybody how close you and Andy have been since childhood.
25, 30 years or longer, with close friends with the family. Worked with him at the business that he owns. Worked with him with the Christmas tree part of the business in the wintertime. So pretty much, we today's kind of glitches we had, but not so much, was our cell phone reception in this terrain, because sometimes we would have it and sometimes we wouldn't. So it was real hard to communicate just with the folks that were with us as far as back and forth from trucks to trucks and things like that. So we tried to stay accountable with each other, but in some of this terrain, it gets difficult.
So, if I can, Lance, I want to just bring up one of the challenges was that because of the terrain and the lack of connectivity, it was pretty difficult to find people at times. And because everyone was so unfamiliar with the area, what we thought would be the best answer was just to hurry and create an app that we could have you locate each other. And so now, folks, just the commanders in this group have the ability to go into this application. They can go in and draw a little bit. They can mark up things on the map. They can send each other notations. But the thing that, again, Ron, I'm going to have you kind of step in again. But think about when you had a team out there. What we're looking at right here are all the tracks, and then the ability to go in and start marking up this thing and sharing the information, or even doing things as simple as saying, I got to get from where I am over to where Lance is. What's the best direction to take me from point A to point B? And we can really see how all of a sudden this can make a difference in finding people or keeping things together. But the cool thing here is that these folks running these web applications were able to build this. And I got to call out Jeff Shaner, who built this thing. He built it in less than an hour's time and drove the names and the content in this thing to everybody that is in leadership so that they could make decisions on that. So Lance, maybe you could respond to that. And then I'm going to ask that poor beat up cop, Ron, to talk about it for a second.
That's awesome, because that will definitely help. Just like I talked to you today, text you that we were looking for a particular lake. Well, we got directions from the sheriff's department, which is fantastic. However, we finally had to stop and ask one of the local businesses where a road was we were specifically trying to get to. Well, they told us that the sign had been taken down.
Yeah, and you reached out to me and said, hey, can you show us where this lake is? And I reached out to the Intel team, and within 5-10 minutes, you were standing there at the lake, and he just froze up a little. So, this is the kind of response that we've had together here. Oh, he fell off, so he's going to sign back in.
Yeah, cell service is tough out there.
yeah. Anyway, so as everybody can see, this is what everybody's been dealing with every single day. And so the technology that we've been able to bring to this mountain terrain has been a game changer.
It's invaluable.
Because even though this is run in real time, if it goes out, it will then repopulate at the end, and then we'll be able to see, what the rest of the day look like, right? And so let me see here. Is Lance back in? I can see him, but he froze up again. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
So if you can, I don't know if you can hear me or not, buddy, but we're starting to go in and out, but just in case. So, Mike, let's I think let's show them what everybody did if we can. I mean, if you're ready for all of that.
I want to just add while Mike's trying to
go ahead,
get all that up, Chris. I'm sorry. So in the day of like when we would search for a missing, let's just say we had a child that went missing, and that happened quite a bit in New York City. Granted, we didn't have the terrain that you guys are dealing with out there in Colorado. We would work with pin maps. We'd have a temporary headquarters vehicle come out to the location, and in the New York City Police Department, our THVs, the temporary headquarters vehicles, were city buses converted into technology, up the wazoo. But we would always have to do the searches on a regular map, like a regular paper map, and we would put like pins in the map pins. This was searched. This was searched. And we would manually, it would take hours and hours to actually document the work you did. Never mind the hours of on foot going apartment door to apartment door. We'd have 30-story apartment buildings where we'd have to check every apartment.
Yeah.
It was exhausting. Granted, we had teams of hundreds of guys out there, but.
Yeah, but Ron, you were searching a city inside of a building. These folks are covering 100 miles on a piece of tough terrain, but you're covering that within a city block, and it's going up 100 stories. I mean,
correct.
That's a pretty interesting thing. So I pulled up a little map here, and hopefully we'll get Lance back. This is just a concentration of the areas where they were searching today, but you'll see there's a little bit of blue track going over into Colorado Springs. What actually happened, it's kind of interesting. You can kind of see this human movement going on, and it really tells us a lot about human behavior. But we saw folks driving in from Colorado Springs today just to participate in the search. So we see people who are commuting in to participate in these searches. And so it also gives us a feel to see how, we keep saying how thrilled we are with the people of Salida, but this is people of Colorado. I mean, these are stretching out into other cities that people are saying, hey, I'm driving in. And the only reason there's any kind of signature on that map, Chris, is because a significant number of people drove through that area. So it wasn't just one person driving, and now we're seeing that appear on the map, but we're really seeing this really significant movement of people. So even from the folks Colorado Springs down to Penrose maybe or something, I don't have my glasses on, but all of a sudden
those hot spots on the map, Mike, are the spots that were covered.
Yeah, so the one in the very middle center right, Ron, is the meeting place, and the big concentration to the far right is actually a search that occurred, and the Vigil tonight, and people milling around in that area of the Vigil, because we're doing this live, so we're getting actually real-time concentrations. But then we see up north of the city and to the west, and then a couple of points north where there were small search parties covering small individual things. And then again, we see more to the west. And because some of that dealt with what Lance had just mentioned, we wanted to not get too visual on that. Other than Lance, I don't know. There you go. I don't know if you want to talk about those different areas and what your searches were.
I think he's frozen again. Yeah, that Wi-Fi up there is amazing. But go ahead, Mike. Finish your thought.
Yeah. So let's just look at a couple more while we're waiting, just to give everybody a sense of what the searchers were experiencing today. I also took a snapshot from at one point during the search, the locations where some things were being collected, and I left the actual collections on here because some of these were so hard to figure out where they are, but if we were to zoom in, we would get a lot more content on that. But this is what I really wanted to concentrate on tonight for all of our viewers, and it would be cool to get your insights on and thoughts about this, Ron. But yesterday alone, now, again, people have said, so why on earth is Andy doing this? In one day, his team was able to cover 1,257 miles of searching. I mean, think about that for a moment. Wow. This is so incredible, and what we're able to do today because of technology is, again, and I keep saying it, counting every time a piece of leather hits a piece of dirt, and we're able to categorize that and show where people are moving. And we can go in and look at specific search areas. Like yesterday, there was a lot of discussion, Chris, around the back of the Morphew home. And if we were just to go in and concentrate on that little search alone where some evidence was recovered, we can now see that even in just that little area, people walking back and forth in that area covered 575 miles walking back and forth. This is the power of analytics and what we can do today versus what we used to do. The ability to now go in and look at that and say, I can now see the areas that were not covered and why weren't they covered. And we can go in and we can look at things like aerial imagery and say, oh, because it was actually a hillside and the evidence and the information we had didn't support going up on top of that ridge line or that hillside. So all of this really points to the value that technology can bring to the table. And I'm gonna just stop there, and then I'll come back to one other thing that we've made available to the searchers that other people don't have access to, but I think we ought to show it to people.
Absolutely. And so the value of this, obviously, from an investigative position, I mean, and Ron and I can, I think we're both in an agreement. So what will happen now, at the end of these, 4 or 5 days here, all of this information is going to be turned over and made available. And the law enforcement assets will be able to go to each one of those ideas that was pinpointed. They'll be able to hit on that from their office, and then they'll be able to send assets immediately to that longitude latitude point and actually collect that item. So let's say, for an example, you had somebody, 50 miles away from the original point of interest to a second point of interest. And in our business, we would call that a secondary crime scene. And if it was a scenario where you had a secondary crime scene where you had some potential evidentiary evidence, then what you want to do is, folks they're going to contain it. Number one, when they get there. And number two, they're going to photograph it. If there's a measurement point, they may come off of a tree or they may come off a lawn lap. But there's technology today. One of them is the Faro system, where they just plant that in the ground and it spins around. And right, Ron, I mean, it does a 360 of everything near you. And then and all of that stuff will come into court later on. And this is where you start seeing some of the LiDAR and you start seeing some of the reconstruction pieces of the puzzle coming together.
It's similar. Go ahead, it's similar to Chris, the ShotSpotter technology that we have.
Yeah. Tell them about that. Tell them about ShotSpotter.
It's a great tool that law enforcement uses here in the Northeast, and I'm sure throughout the country. If somebody goes outside of their home and shoots a shot off in the air, we get immediate coordinates on where that shot was pinpointed right to the exact location. And police officers are dispatched directly to that location. That technology was not available 6 years ago. 6 or 8 years ago, it was non-existent. You would get a call for shots fired and you'd have to go and investigate it and look for shell casings, look for other type of evidence. Whereas with this ShotSpotter, I had an instance at my place of business. There was a ShotSpotter person was shot actually and was driven off to an area hospital, but the police officers were able to come directly to the location, collect the evidence, see the blood stains on the floor, and make an arrest, all within that same night. I assisted them with my security camera surveillance, and I was involved in that. Got everything going. It recultivated all of my active police days, because I helped them get actually the footage of the shooting. It was on my surveillance camera system. Again, ShotSpotter, same type of technology that they're using for these type of apps and this type of stuff that's going on, and I think it's great technology.
Yeah, and I think, just a little history lesson. So to your point, ShotSpotter wasn't available to the law enforcement community because it was sitting over in Iraq and Afghanistan on Humvees, and it was a turret system that essentially. So everybody, dive a little deeper here, but it's an acoustic system. And essentially what happens is it operates on sound waves. So if somebody fires a gun in a war, the turret spins immediately within, I think it's like 0.4 milligram or milliseconds. And so what happens is the acoustic comes back into this technology, the turret spins and immediately discharges a bunch of, bullets towards the threat. Well, in the cities, you can't do that, right? However, you can utilize the technology, and that technology is then pushed into what we call, and you guys know, on the second floor at the real-time crime and at one police plaza, they get a notification that there's been a gunfire, somewhere, and within a millisecond, the real-time crime center lights up, and those analysts right there are able to send some assets there. Yeah.
My brother's a retired lieutenant, worked in real-time crime. He was in the operations for a long time. I got to get him to come on my channel and come on with you guys too, because he worked for about 3 years in operations under Chief Esposito, and he was in that. I've been up there hundreds of times, and every agency throughout the tri-state was assigned to that. I don't know. Have you been there, Chris? You talked.
Oh yeah, many times. Yeah, many times. I knew Godek. You probably knew Mike Godek.
Right, there you go. With all the screens and the the technology was just insane.
But that's not the big one. That's not the good one.
You
got JROC is the big one. The Joint Regional Operations Center. Yeah, that's the big boy. Hey, I don't want to get off of Morphew here. Let's stay focused on Suzanne. Go.
Why don't you let's ask Tim to pull up some folks, because there have been a lot of folks that have stepped up and made some donations, and I want to call them out. And then I thought it might be interesting, Chris, to just show two things. One that is available to everyone, a story map, and then something that we made available only to the searchers, which we call a hub, a place where they can get information and intel and updates. So let's call out a few people. Donna, 1965, thank you so much for the donation.
Very much. And we have a ton of people here. And Avalon Apples, you guys show what honorable men really are. What can we say when we get these types of, we're not used to this, to be honest with you, but thank you so much. You're honorable. And everybody that comes to these channels, I mean, Ron, myself, Mike, we can't say thank you enough. My goodness, you're just great. Thank you.
Without you guys, we have nothing. So we need, we need the great support of people like you, and it's always appreciated. And we're humbled, obviously.
Yeah. And you're solving the crimes. You guys are solving the crimes.
Yeah, it's amazing what you're solving. Tim, do we have any more that we have not called out? And folks, if we missed you, please know, I think Chris announced it yesterday. We actually are going to put up a page at the end of every month that shows everyone that donated the previous month, just so that in case we miss somebody, we would feel we'd be mortified if we didn't call you out for your graciousness. So thank you. And then every month we'll refresh that and start anew, but we'll try to remember to call out folks. On Thursday nights, we usually don't call out anybody on our Thursday night show, Ron. We save it for choir practice, and we try to get down to business on Thursdays. But Chris, how about, should we show them a story map?
Yeah, let's show them a story map for sure.
So, folks, if you just go to the Profiling Evil website and click on the button Story Maps, you can see it right here at the top in the Story Maps area. Oh, and by the way, there have been quite a few of you keep asking about where the GoFundMe page is. You can just go to profilingevil.com. On the left, you can sign up for the search. You'll be taken to a form that you can fill out. On the right, you'll be taken to the official GoFundMe page to take care of Andy. And so please take advantage of that. But when you click on Story Maps, and this is kind of a growing and emerging area here that we've got building. One of the first ones is the Suzanne Morphew story map. And of course, there we're going to go down. In fact, this Monday night, we're going to be talking about Cindy Sutherland, and we're going to have one of the reporters who has been covering Sydney's case on with us, and that's going to be interesting. Layla Cavitt's story map. But when you click on Suzanne's, you'll be able to go through, and these are really cool, Ron. Again, these are from our friends at Esri, but this capability of putting geography and content side by side is really pretty neat. As we go through, we can see the area. We can have interactive maps to work with. We can see things like the drone footage that was captured. We can see content in here. If we want to watch Barry's plea early on, we can go through and grab that. But each thing within there is very interactive. There are tabs across the top that if we want to just bounce forward and go to the actual search and see what information is held there.
Right. What I like most about this site, Mike, is that it's very, very user friendly. You don't have to be a computer programming whiz to get on this site and navigate through it. So kudos to your team that put this site together. It's intuitive. It's very well put together, and I encourage everybody to go and check this website out, profilingevil.com.
Oh, thanks. It is really cool. I know today Lance shared with us, they searched this pond that was here.
Thank you, Audrey.
They also searched another area just downstream, this pond area. And so this gives us a way to kind of see the landscape. But it's not only in 2D, you can go in and you can kind of see things in a 3-dimensional way, so you can really experience things. And for those of you who listened, and we would invite you to go back and listen again if you didn't, but if you listen to some of the discussion and reasons originally given, one of those was that there was a mountain lion involved. And here is a great link to the Mountain Lion Foundation and discussions about that alibi. But you can click on these little links and you can see and have the map kind of zoom down into areas and take you back. But anyway, spend some time, go through this, learn about cell phone tracking and other kinds of things. I think you might enjoy spending some time. So again, just go to Profiling Evil. You can see the link there and jump in. And then Chris, I don't know if you want to call out a few people that have been
Debbie Smith. Yep. Debbie Smith has been jumping in here. Audrey Jensen, thank you guys for Suzanne. God bless you for taking time on airtime on Suzanne. And Mike, so I want to say a couple of things for a second in terms of what our role has been and how we have come across this. Okay, so remember, kudos to Tyson for having that conversation with Barry. Okay. One of the things that's very interesting, behaviorally, that I think we're witnessing with this new technology of social media and all this other stuff. Okay. I think it's important for people to understand an investigator's responsibility is to hear all sides, whether it's critical or whether it's positive. Okay. And by the way, everybody in this circle and everybody in our family, we've heard everything from you name it to you name it. Okay. Now I saw a chat go by here. It says Only the Barry haters can ask questions. Okay. Well, okay, that's okay. Because guess what? No, if you have a question, then ask the question. Okay. But what I want to do is remind everybody how we got here in terms of this investigation. It's not about Mike, myself, Ron. It's about Andy. It's about Barry. It's about Suzanne. Okay. This and Gene and the girls and everybody else on that side, both sides. You have two families in a dynamic here right now. Okay. So let's reverse for a moment. Okay. A young mother, a 49-year-old mother, goes out on a bike ride. Okay. That's the story. Okay. All right. The cops get involved and they start saying, I'm not really sure about this bike ride thing yet. Okay. In fact, let's get a couple of search warrants and start searching that house. Okay. And by the way, we're not only going to search that house, we're going to hold that house. Okay. We're going to impound 2 vehicles, 2 Range Rovers. Okay. We're going to interview the neighbors. We're going to canvass an entire back area behind that house. Okay. We are going to get another search warrant and go to a piece of property and dig a slab up. Okay. And we're going to siphon each piece of dirt, We're going to siphon it. Okay. And we're not done yet. We're going to go back to that house. Okay. And we're going to get another search warrant. We got to convince another judge, Your Honor, we need to go back there. Okay. And then we're going to go back in that house and we're going to walk out with more bags. Okay. And then, okay, now we're not done yet. And then we're going to go to a hotel in Denver. Okay. And we're going to take a look at a hotel room. And then, okay, we're not finished. Okay. We're not going to tell the public what we're doing. Okay. But we're going to ask the husband, hey, would you come and take some tests for us? Okay. And then when the husband says, I'm not really interested in any of that. Okay. They're going to come out and say, well, we can't eliminate anybody and we can't put anybody into the circle. Okay. And then, okay, they're going to go like this even further to the DA's office. So earlier there was a question. What's the role of the DA? Okay. Well, the DA's office, their job is to prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay. i.e. you got to get 12 people in a jury box and say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is the evidence. And there's a process for that. That can go one of 2 ways. Go to a grand jury, okay, or you can go to what they call an intake deputy, i.e. a DA who looks at your case. And typically in a case like this, it's going to be a high profile DA. Okay. Somebody with a lot of experience. Okay. And you present your case as an investigator. And the DA sits back and says, yeah, we know that person could have, should have, would have. Okay. But we can't prove it yet. Okay. So you get back out there and you start doing some more work. Okay. So now let's fast forward 90 days. A brother is looking for his little sister. Okay. And so what does he do? He says, will somebody help me find my sister, please? Okay. And he calls after going out there and saying, you know what? I'm really not sure about this bike thing. Okay. I'm really not sure about this mountain lion thing. Okay. I'm really not sure about a lot of things. Okay. I just want to find my sister and I want to bring her home. Okay. So let's see now in the chat how many people would like to ask questions about anything. Go ahead, fire away. We're ready. Okay. Because I've heard everything in the book, in the last, month on this thing. Okay. What I haven't heard is, and by the way, we did this one of the very first videos we did. Barry, come on the show. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to see you. Okay. We have invited you dozens of times. You know what I heard today? He's got multiple friends in town who are searching with the searchers, the bee watchers watching the bee watchers. Okay. And then going back, and by the way, they're staying at his house. Okay. And by the way, Barry doesn't live at that house. Let's not forget that. Lauren interviewed him at a condo. Okay. But his friends are staying at that house, and he just happens to show up when the searchers showed up with a bunch of barricades in front of the house. And he happened to go up on a hill with a shotgun, putting out cameras, okay, while people searching for his wife were coming up the backside of the hill looking for his wife. Okay. So here's a question to you. Anybody, okay? Why? Help me understand that. Go ahead, Ron. Fire away.
Listen. That to me is showing guilt right there in my mind, and I'm jumping the gun here.
Don't jump the gun. Don't jump the gun.
Why put cameras up and why tell searchers you're going on to private property? Is he telling them don't go search there? Is he being that guy? Hey, I don't want you going over here because there may be something over here. Could be, maybe not. But,
so let's play the other side of that. All right. I don't mean to stop you, but cop to cop, right? Let's play the other side of that. Okay.
I love devil's advocate.
Everybody says, hey, innocent till proven guilty. I don't think there's a guy on this panel or in this chat room here tonight and listening to us around the world that does not believe that's the correct principle. Not a single one of us, okay? But I'll tell you what is interesting, okay, is his wife was just honored tonight at a vigil.
Where the hell was he?
Well, I don't know. And I'm not going to judge him for that. I would just like to know, okay, if we're wrong in any of the things we've said or done going forward, okay, I want to say to the guy, okay, look, we're here to listen to you too. Okay. Come to us. Come to this channel. Come to your channel, right? Go back in front of Tyson or whoever you need to go to, but come to somebody and say, guys, this is what happens. You know what we hear all the time? Okay. There was an old Supreme Court decision years ago. LAPD put a guy in front of a Xerox machine. Okay. This was a long time ago, and the Supreme Court threw it out, by the way. Okay. But get this. So the guy says, yeah, I'll take a lie detector test. Okay. Well, this was back in the day when you would have to hook them up to the poly. Okay. And you have to, it takes 2 or 3 hours. So you know what they did? They got creative. This is a true story. Okay. They ran him over to the Xerox machine and they sat him next to the Xerox machine. Okay. And one of the guys ran into the break room and got a spaghetti strainer. Okay. And they ran back out and they taped some wires to the spaghetti strainer, taped it to the back of the Xerox machine, and put the spaghetti strainer on his head. And they put the chair next to the Xerox machine. And then they asked him a series of questions. And these were the questions. And this is where the court said, I don't think you guys should do that. And they basically booted it. Okay. So here's what happened. They said, what is your name? And the crook answered them. And every one of the investigators looked at the Xerox machine. Nothing happened. And then they said, were you involved in this crime? And the guy said, no. And somebody hit print. Okay. And they had he's lying on the piece on the cover. Okay. And it pushed out an answer and they showed it to him and he says, you're lying. Okay. And the guy went like this. He said, holy smokes. Okay. Anyway, he ended up confessing. Okay. Because he thought that the Xerox machine knew when he was telling the truth or not. Okay. Hey. Well, the Supreme Court looked at that and said, guys, you've gone over the edge here. Okay. You can't hook people up to a Xerox machine with a spaghetti strainer. Okay? All right.
And we have gone over the edge because we have Linda in the house.
Yay.
How is this? And Linda, thank you for responding to my email. Folks, we had Andy is just so exhausted. We were having bandwidth problems getting Lance and Andy in. Ron was skulking around in the parking lot, picking up pop cans, trying to supplement his income. And we grabbed him and pulled him in, and we wanted to get you in and just say, how are you doing? And tell us what's going on and how you're thinking about things.
Hi, Linda. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Duty Ron. I've seen your channel before. It's awesome. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a long time, but yeah, that's awesome. I apologize because I've been on mommy duty all day. Little one had a dental little appointment, and he man colds, let's just say. I call it man colding. So I was watching Ghostbusters with him and hanging out, and he fell asleep, and then I got your email. So here I am.
Well, it's great to have you on. Linda, you have been just so complimentary about the technology that's being used and about the kind of search that's going on. There's a lot of people saying, hey, well, there's not much of a chance that we're going to find something. Yesterday alone, they covered over 1,200 miles in search of Suzanne. Today, I would suggest they probably did more than that. But what have been a few of your thoughts?
Well, to be honest, today I'm behind the 8 ball on that one. Like I said, I've been mommy dutying. Yesterday, I was so impressed. I said that on my channel. I did a live stream last night and was saying I'm so impressed with the amount of coverage they did do just in the first day. And so cool that you can see the foot tracks. And I have a feeling I did watch what Andy was saying last night. And I found it very, very interesting, some of the comments that he made. First off, I want to say Andy is absolutely amazing. You could see the love he has for his little sister, and you can see he's on a mission. And all of us at It's a Crime and all of us everywhere are just rooting for Andy and family. And so I just want to say that. But yeah, it didn't surprise me, and it did surprise me I shouldn't say what they found, but some of Andy's comments. So I'm cheering for him that way. Obviously, he can't say what it is, the little bits that he found. Maybe you guys can give me up to speed on what happened today, because like I said, I've been off. But
yeah, in fact, they reported earlier. Chris, I don't know if you want to cover that, but they covered earlier that they covered a lot of ground. They had, I think, 4 different search areas, Chris.
Yep. Mm-hmm. 4 different
and
areas.
They recovered a few things. Nothing like yesterday where they immediately dispatched law enforcement to go process the scene, though. So, and then, of course, Chris just mentioned the sheriff's press release on the information they uncovered yesterday. But the good news was the sheriff made an appearance at the Vigil tonight, and kudos to him for doing that.
good.
That was great. That was a great a moment to see the professional law enforcement on the ground there supporting the family who has come, some many miles to search for his sister. And I felt strongly about the importance of law enforcement to be at that location. And I'm just curious if your contacts, Mike, Tyler was there. Did the sheriff say anything, or he was just there for support, Mike?
Well, we pimped Tyler a couple of times to get over and talk to the sheriff, and we're waiting to hear back if we were able to get some information.
But I'm saying the sheriff didn't get up on at the stage or the podium and say, "Well."
So I think we saw the whole thing live. Yeah,
and I think you and I know, as law enforcement professionals, it would be a little difficult to get up there when you're conducting an active investigation and start having a conversation. So he might not have really been able to say much there. So I think just his presence was important to show support for the family, and also him dispatching his team, the investigative units, when there was a recovery yesterday. So that was good that they did that.
Yeah, and he put that press release out, and the optimal words in that press release are "at this point." Okay, what that is typically code for is we've sent it off for processing, right, Ron? I mean, Mike, I mean that, and Linda, I mean, you've done enough of these where So we don't know what it is. I mean, it could be nothing. Okay.
Right.
But the fact that it was found and collected, it could be something, because they wouldn't have collected it unless they thought there was something there. I mean, so you don't know. I mean,
Correct.
it could be connected to something else.
Yeah.
And that's always
I
important.
want to
too.
make a confession here real quick to you guys. I feel kind of intimidated with this superstar next to me over here in the box.
She's amazing.
Next to me, Linda.
Yeah, she's the pioneer. You're ahead of the game. You're amazing.
Oh,
I mean, no, you're awesome. I mean, we just love It's a Crime. I mean, you're out there,
man. You got a
every
great
single
channel.
night, and not only that, you're smart. You are really
Thanks.
smart,
I really
and
appreciate
Mr. Linda married way up, and that is apparent here. Yeah.
You know, it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny. I wasn't trying to be cute about it. I actually, when I saw her on your channel, that's when I didn't even know that she was out there. You know, we all get so busy doing our thing, and it was nothing against you or anything like that. But as soon as I saw you, I said, "Oh, let me go and check her out." And you present things in a real intelligent way, and I could see that you put a lot of you put a lot of work into investigating what you're talking about, because there's some people that just talk and just to talk, but you do put, Linda, you do put time in, and I could see that. So kudos to you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know how hard it is to do some of these channels. So
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm a father.
open
I have
for-
2 children. I have 2 grown children. I'm married 30 years. I'm a director of security at a large firm. So I got people tugging at me everywhere. So when I get to do my little stuff, it's like,
Yeah.
we're like, it's like a juggling act. It's
It
difficult
so
at
is.
best.
It so is. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're
Well,
welcome.
We're all after the
know,
truth, right?
yeah, we tackled a lot of stuff tonight. We had hoped to get Andy on. Bandwidth in Salida is one tough thing, and we're so shocked that we were able to stream the Vigil, and we really appreciate Tyler for being on the ground there and doing that. Ron, you got 30 seconds. What do you want to say to people? And especially, I'd like you to focus on the people who continue to have hope, continue to offer prayers, and continue to walk that dirt out there.
Yes. Well, thank you, Mike. The importance here is that we are talking about a real live person who is missing, presumed now missing, and presumed not living. We need to focus on respect for the family, respect for the surviving children, respect for our law enforcement who are doing a very difficult thing. They are tasked with bringing answers to a family. We're going on, 4 months here. So we need to say to ourselves, we pray for each and every one of the people who are involved, the guys and gals that are out there searching right now. It's important that they need our support, and anything that is given in a positive fashion is helpful. So let's try to keep it positive. Let's not try to bash and go off on tangents, because we all want answers. We all want answers, but think about the family, how much the family wants answers. So when we speak about these cases and we talk about these important things, we have to always keep in our minds that there is a real life family, real life people here that are missing their loved ones. And that's why I have to say, and thank you to everyone who positively interacts, who gives information if they have it. And people, no little bit of information is not important. So come forward with whatever you have. Call that tip line, get in touch with the FBI, get in touch with the law enforcement on the ground there. And thank you to you guys, Mike, Chris, Linda. It's an honor. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Well, it's our honor. Folks, blow up that chat window with a thanks to Ron. Linda, we didn't get enough time with you tonight. Maybe you could slip in tomorrow or Sunday night in our session. If you'll just let us know if you have a few minutes and come back in, because we'd like to get more of your insight. But the same question I pitched to Ron, what would your thoughts be?
Oh man, Duty Ron did an awesome job just there. I think some of the things I want to piggyback on what he said about these are real people. I see sometimes in the chat going, oh, I'm so over this case or that case. But at the end of the day, there's still not answers. Suzanne has not come home, however that looks. And I often say that when you're in limbo, you're in hell. So the family needs closure, however that looks. Suzanne needs to come home. And exactly like Judy Ron said, these are real people. So I'm not going to stop. I've already said I'm not stopping until answers are found. And I'm sure you guys all feel the same as well.
Thanks, Linda. Will you look at your schedule for tomorrow or Sunday night? If you have a minute, come back and spend a couple minutes with us. That would be awesome.
I will. Most likely it'll be tomorrow night.
Okay, very good.
I'll be tuning in.
I won't be watching Ghostbusters and falling asleep.
Yeah,
I love Ghostbusters.
Not watch.
I love Ghostbusters. One of my favorite movies.
I know,
And
right?
it is the city of New York, right across from the Hilton I like to stay in. So
thank you, Miss Stickle.
There you go.
Super
Yeah.
Stickle.
Thank you for having me on.
You are always welcome,
You're
as
amazing.
are you, Ron, and to my dear friend Chris, who was extremely passionate tonight. I'm going to give you the last word. And
oh my
and
gosh,
thank you, everyone.
Chris is the man. Chris is the man.
well, I don't know, because I think we're all, everybody, from what I can see from a distance. There's an old saying that says, "No man got to the top of the mountain by falling there." Okay, and I think all of us that are involved in this, there's something that pulled everybody together, and that something was you could see a light within inside of that spirit known as Suzanne. Okay. And I think everybody in the world caught that vision quickly. Okay. Well, I'm passionate about, having Andy have the ability to tell that story, to having Barry have the ability to tell that story, to having us, all of us together tell that story. Okay. But the story cannot be told, okay, if it doesn't exist. And until till she is found, and whether it's a plus or a minus, okay, I go back, to this idea that says we are all good people and we're all human beings. And in our world today, we have enough going on between everybody. And, I think what we're doing and seeing is we're seeing this opportunity to do something outside of ourselves. And I think Suzanne speaks to the goodness within inside each of us. Okay. And the one thing I want to say, the last thing I'm going to say, is we've had water assets today. We've had people on horses. We had people bringing little Debbie's, cakes. We had people bringing bottles of water. We have, just people lighting candles because that's where their heart tells them they need to be for that moment. Okay. This is the human condition. We have an opportunity to keep that condition, make it better. Okay. Suzanne needs to come home tomorrow. I know an area that Andy's going to search. Okay. It's going to be a big deal. Okay. I'm here to tell you, and Michael, thank you for letting me chatter here for a second, because he knows my heart. Okay. I'm here to tell you, tomorrow could be a better day than today. But either way, it's not going away. And, thank goodness that Andy has, he's exhausted tonight, because he would have been here. He even, Lance sent a text message saying he's exhausted. Okay. Well, guess what? It's our responsibility to lift him up. It's not our responsibility to say yay or nay. Okay. I mean, we're not doing that to the other guy. We'd love to help him. We really would. I mean, Mike, am I wrong? How many times have we said, how can we help? How can we help Barry? Okay. What can we do? Well, okay. I don't know. Okay. But, That said, he too is in the human condition, and that guilt's got to be driving him crazy somewhere in there. If it exists, it's got to absolutely. I've done hundreds of these things, as we all know. Okay, meaning all of us. Okay, have done different things, but I've seen it eat people alive. And one of the saddest things I remember is I had a mother whose son stood on saw a light coming at him. Anyway, the life was taken, and I watched that poor mom just deteriorate. Okay, let's not let that happen, to
Amen.
other people here, and maybe we can put a stop to it. Mike, thank you for letting me chatter.
Thanks to all of you and to everybody who's been here tonight. 6:00 Mountain Time tomorrow night as the search continues. And we're going to be here. Chris and I will be up and going early trying to help from the back room. Tyler will be on scene. We thank Jeremiah, who was there today and headed home tonight, and hope he travels home safely. And thanks to all of you. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Thank you,
God bless.
Linda. Thank you, Ron.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.